I never thought I'd be paying rent alone while my husband sent me sunset selfies from Bali. Yes, you heard that right. He quit his job just like that. No warning, no discussion. One morning, he kissed my forehead, told me he was going to figure himself out, and by nightfall, he was on a flight to Bangkok with a backpack and a dream. I didn't even get a proper goodbye. At first, I thought it was a joke. Ryan always had these spontaneous ideas, midnight road trips, surprise weekend getaways, but this was different. This was reckless. This was selfish. He didn't just leave me. He left the bills, the rent, the responsibilities. And what did I get in return? A screenshot of his Instagram post, captioned, "Finding myself one country at a time, Globe Airplane #Wanderlust Soul." I stared at the screen, heart pounding, hands shaking. Was this a breakdown? A midlife crisis? Or had I simply married a man who didn't know how to stay? People say when a marriage ends, it's slow little things that build up over time. But mine exploded overnight. Like a match tossed into a dry forest. And the worst part? He made it seem like I was the lucky one. "You've got the apartment," he said in his voicemail. "You'll be okay." Like walls and furniture were a fair trade for a broken heart and an abandoned future. I didn't cry. Not at first. I just sat there, staring at his empty side of the bed. The indentation on the pillow is still warm. His toothbrush is still in the holder. The travel book about Thailand once buried in a drawer now missing. I wasn't just left behind. I was erased. But here's the thing Ryan didn't know: you can't just walk away from your life without it following you. For the first 3 years of our marriage, Ryan made life feel like a movie. He was the kind of man who brought home fresh flowers on random Tuesdays, who danced with me barefoot in the kitchen, even when there was no music playing, who remembered the exact date of our first kiss and never let an anniversary pass without writing me a handwritten letter. I fell for him fast. Maybe too fast. We met at a mutual friend's game. Night he was loud, funny, confident, the kind of guy who could charm a whole room in 5 minutes flat. I was quieter, more grounded, the type who checks expiration dates and balances bank statements. Total opposites. But somehow, we worked. "I need someone to pull me back to earth," he'd always say, wrapping his arms around me. "You're my gravity, babe." I used to melt at that line. Now, I realize it was a warning I never caught. Ryan was a dreamer, a wanderer. His feet were always itching to move, even when his heart said, "Stay." He talked often about traveling the world, quitting his job in marketing to chase sunsets, writing poetry, finding purpose. I thought it was just fantasy talk. Everyone has a what-if life, right? I guess I never realized how real it was for him. We got married young 26. We were living in a tiny apartment with peeling paint and paper-thin walls, but we didn't care. Love was loud enough to drown out the noise. We'd spend lazy Sundays building forts out of pillows and ordering cheap takeout while dreaming about the future. Kids. A house. Maybe even a dog. And for a while, everything felt possible. But slowly, quietly, things started to shift. Ryan grew restless. He'd stay up late scrolling through travel blogs, watching backpackers on YouTube. He'd complain about the monotony of work, the predictability of bills, the trap of routine. He called our life a checklist. Job, marriage, rent, repeat. I thought he was just going through a phase. I tried to listen, to be patient, to remind him that every couple hits rough patches, that stability isn't a prison, it's a foundation. But every conversation felt like trying to hold water in my hands. And then one morning, without warning, he was gone. He didn't even leave a note. Just a voice message. 37 seconds long. "I can't breathe anymore, Mia. I need to go. To feel something again. I'll call when I land." He never did. I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? Was I too safe? Too boring? Was love not enough? The Mia I used to be? She would have waited. Made excuses. Held on to hope. But Mia sitting here now? She's about to find out just how strong she really is. 2 weeks after Ryan left, I got a message from his mom. "Have you heard from him?" she asked. I hadn't. At first, I told myself he needed space. Maybe a couple of weeks to get it out of his system, backpack through rice fields, find enlightenment under a waterfall, and come home ready to be an adult again. My heart clung to that idea like it was a raft in stormy water. But when even his mother didn't know where he was, the panic started to crawl in. I checked his social media. His Instagram was still active. He'd posted pictures almost every other day, meditating in Chiang Mai, hiking with strangers in Laos, sipping coffee on a mountain ledge in Vietnam. All with that same infuriating smeletha, one that used to be just for me. No captions. No messages. No tags. He hadn't blocked me. But it was clear the posts weren't for me either. Then one night, while scrolling his page obsessively like some heartbroken detective, I saw a comment that made my blood run cold. It was from a girl named Mina. "Miss you already," she wrote under a photo of Ryan sitting at a rooftop bar, his eyes turned towards someone just outside the frame. I clicked her profile. Public. Beautiful. 24. Every post was a sun-soaked adventure. Waterfalls. Yoga retreats. Beach bonfires. I didn't even have to scroll far. There he was, Ryan, in the background of one of her videos, laughing while helping her light a lantern. His arm brushed against hers like it belonged there. I stared at the screen, breath caught in my chest. She had tagged him. She had tagged him. All this time, I thought he was alone soul-searching or whatever lie he fed himself to make the escape feel noble. But he wasn't finding himself. He was losing me. With her. My hands trembled as I stared at her comment again. "Miss you already." That means past tense. Had she moved on to another stop? Or had he? I didn't know what hurt more, his absence, or the slow realization that he had already replaced me. And not just emotionally, financially too. Because as the first of the month crept closer, so did the overdue notices. Rent. Utilities. Credit cards. Everything we'd once shared now fell entirely on me. The final insult came in a message from our landlord. "Hi Mia, just confirming your intent to renew for another and adult anime 2 months. Ryan's name has been removed from the lease per his request. So not only did he leave me, he made it official. Like I was the one who got left with the leftovers and he walked away clean. But fine. He wanted freedom? He was about to find out what freedom costs. I couldn't stop replaying it in my head. "Miss you already." Who says that to a friend? I tried to convince myself it didn't mean anything. Maybe she was just someone he met at a hostel. Someone he bonded with over cheap beer and jungle hikes. Maybe it was innocent. But that part of me, the part that still believed in him, was shrinking fast. Every time I opened Instagram, there was another photo. Another comment. Another glimpse into the life he was living without me. And always, somehow, she was there. Not front and center, but close enough. The way her shadow lingered in the corner of his frame. The reflection of her face in his sunglasses. The second plate of food on the table in what should have been a solo photo. He was documenting the world and editing me out of it. One night, I finally broke. I poured myself a glass of wine, then another, then a third. And before I could stop myself, I was typing. "Mia, I saw your photos. Who is she?" I stared at the message, hovered my thumb over the send button. My chest was tight, my throat dry. I wasn't the type to chase. I wasn't the type to beg. But I hit send anyway. The message was marked read. He didn't reply. The silence was louder than any scream. The next day, I woke up with a hangover and a pit in my stomach. I checked my phone before my eyes had even fully opened. Still nothing. I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, I got up, brushed my teeth, fed the cat, watered the dying plant on the windowsill, and then I opened our joint savings account online. $0. I blinked, refreshed the page. Still zero. He had drained it. Every last cent. Even the emergency fund we agreed never to touch unless one of us got hit by a bus or laid off. And he didn't even leave me the courtesy of a receipt. I slammed the laptop shut and sat on the couch, numb. What kind of person does that? Was he always this selfish? This careless? Or had I just never seen it before? I tried to remember the last time he looked me in the eyes and told me he loved me. It had been months, maybe longer. We'd gone from good morning babe kisses to passing each other like ghosts in a shared apartment. Maybe I should have known. Maybe the signs were there. Maybe I was too busy holding on to what we used to be to see what we'd already lost. Later that night, my best friend Zoe came over. She walked in with 2 tubs of ice cream, no questions asked. I told her everything. About Nina, about the money, about the way I felt like I was disappearing. She didn't say you'll be okay. She didn't feed me cliches. She just looked me dead in the eye and said, "You want to call him?" I nodded. She handed me her phone. "Use mine. That way he won't screen the call." My hands were shaking as I dialed. It rang once, twice, then, "Hello?" His voice. I froze. My heart thudded against my ribs. "Mia?" he asked. "Is that you?" I wanted to scream, to curse, to ask him how he could sleep at night knowing he left me in financial ruin while he danced barefoot in Bali. But all I said was, "You drained the account." Silence. Then a sigh. "I needed it. I'll pay you back when I can. I'm figuring things out. With her?" I snapped, my voice cracking. He didn't deny it. Just said, "It's not what you think." That was the moment I felt something in me finally shift. "I used to love you," I whispered. "So much that I was willing to forgive anything. But now I don't even recognize you." He tried to speak, but I hung up. I stared at Zoe. "He's gone." She nodded. Then let him stay gone. 2 weeks passed. No more messages. No more calls. Just silence until a letter arrived. Yes. A real paper letter, shoved into my mailbox like it was an adult Anime 998. No return address. Just my name scribbled in messy handwriting I knew too well. I stared at it for hours before opening it. Inside was a single sheet. "Mia, I know you probably hate me. I wouldn't blame you. I messed up. But I need to tell you something before you find out from someone else. Nina's pregnant. It wasn't planned. It just happened. I didn't mean for any of this to happen like this. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I just thought you should hear it from me." I couldn't breathe. I read it again. And again. She was pregnant. I stood there in the kitchen, the hum of the refrigerator suddenly deafening, the world tilting sideways. A part of me laughed. A sick, stunned kind of laugh that bubbled up without warning. Of course. Of course it wasn't just some fling. Of course he hadn't just left me for space or freedom. He had left me for a family. With her. With someone who wasn't me. I thought I had already been gutted, though there was nothing left inside me that could still break. I was wrong. I walked straight to the bathroom and threw up. Later, when I managed to stop shaking, I sat down and did something I hadn't done since the day he left. I opened his old email account. We used to share a login when planning trips, so I could access our itineraries and flight confirmations. He never changed the password. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he didn't think I'd ever look. The inbox was a graveyard of receipts, tickets, and newsletters until I spotted something recent. A hotel reservation. 2 guests. Thailand. Checkout date? Next month. So he wasn't just drifting around. He was settling. At least long enough to play house with her. Then another email caught my eye. It was from a recruiter. Subject: Interview Confirmation Singapore Tech Group. I clicked it. Ryan had applied for a full-time position. Remote. High-paying. Stable. Stable. The same thing he said he didn't want with me. The job offered relocation support for dependents, health benefits for spouses, a clear path to long-term security. Suddenly, it hit me. He didn't leave because he was lost. He left because he already had a new plan and I wasn't in it. I had been on a trial run. The test life. The safe harbor until he found something more exciting. And now he was preparing for fatherhood, interviews, A shiny new future while I sat in a crumbling apartment wondering if I should sell my engagement ring just to keep the lights on. That was the moment the grief hardened into something else. Not sadness. Not confusion. If he thought he could vanish, start fresh, and leave me drowning in his wake, he was about to learn that some women don't stay broken. Some rebuild. Some rise. And some burn the whole damn script. I didn't plan it. Not really. But one morning, after waking up to another eviction warning, I booked a one-way flight to Singapore. I told myself I just wanted answers, closure, but deep down I knew what I really wanted. I wanted him to see my face when I told him he didn't win. He didn't break me. He didn't erase me. He just gave me a reason to evolve. It wasn't hard to find him. The recruiter's email included the company's office location. He had an in-person interview scheduled for that week. I showed up early and waited outside the glass building, palms sweating, heart hammering like a war drum. And then I saw him. Ryan, wearing a crisp collared shirt, clean-shaven, smiling. He looked happy. I stepped directly into his path. He froze. Mia? For a second, the world went silent. I could see the color drain from his face. "What are you doing here?" he asked, voice low, nervous glances around. I smiled, slow and cold. Just wanted to see the man who left me to rot while playing house with his new family. His eyes widened. "You read the letter." I did. I didn't expect no. You didn't, I cut in. You didn't expect me to find out. You didn't expect me to stand up. You thought I'd stay quiet. You thought I'd fall apart. Mia, I didn't plan any of this. I was lost Oh, spare me the poetic crap, I snapped. You weren't lost. You left. There's a difference. He swallowed hard. Look, I'm trying to fix things. I'm starting over. I'm going to be a father. I stepped closer, fire burning through every word. You're not starting over. You're running. You emptied our savings, Ryan. Left me with months of bills, an apartment I can't afford, and zero explanation. He opened his mouth to speak, but I wasn't done. I gave you everything, my trust, my time, my heart, and you used all of it to build a future with someone else. He glanced around, voice tight. Can we talk somewhere else? Not here. Why? Embarrassed? Someone might hear the truth? Mia, I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did. I held his gaze, unflinching. And the worst part? You never even apologized. He just disappeared. Silence. He looked down, jaw tense. Then, finally, I'm sorry. I blinked. It was the first time he said it, but it was too late. I shook my head. You don't get to say that and walk away clean. Actions have consequences, Ryan. You made choices. Now I get to make mine. He frowned. What does that mean? I reached into my bag and handed him a manila envelope. You'll find the lease transfer form, the final bills in your name, and a legal notice. He stared at it. Legal notice? I consulted a lawyer. You abandoned financial responsibilities without consent. I'm suing for damages, and I'm freezing our joint credit until you pay me back. His face turned pale. You can start your new life, I said, voice calm. But you'll do it honestly. Or not at all. And then I walked away. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I didn't look back. Because at that moment, I wasn't the woman he left behind. I was the woman who found herself in the ruins. And I was done letting him write my story. It's funny how the human heart works. You think it'll shatter forever until it doesn't. You think you'll die from heartbreak until one day you wake up and breathe without pain. That day came slowly for me. I went back home, filed the paperwork, blocked his number, blocked hers. Sold the last gift he ever gave me, a watch with our initials on the back for just enough to cover a new mattress. I didn't want to sleep on memories anymore. I found a new apartment. Smaller, cheaper, but filled with sunlight. I painted the walls. Grow herbs in tiny mason jars. Took long walks without needing permission or explanation. I stopped checking his social media. Stopped waiting for a text that would never come. Instead, I focused on myself. I started freelancing. One client turned into 5. then 10. Slowly, I was paying bills on my own, not surviving thriving. Zoe called one night and asked, "Do you ever miss him?" I thought about it. The way he used to make me laugh until my ribs hurt. The way we danced barefoot in the kitchen. The way I thought forever was a promise, not a gamble. "No," I said. "I miss who I thought he was, not who he turned out to be." That's the thing no one tells you. People don't always leave you. Sometimes, they simply reveal who they've been all along. Months passed. Then, one rainy Tuesday, a package arrived at my door. No name, no return address. Inside was a small box, and a note. "Thought you might want this back." It was the engagement ring. The same one I had left behind on the bathroom sink the day he walked out. I stared at it, then walked straight to the nearest pawn shop. I used the money to buy a plane ticket, not to Asia, but to Italy, somewhere I had always wanted to go but never dared to without him. I spent a week in Rome, wandering cobblestone streets, sipping espresso at corner cafes, watching strangers fall in love in languages I didn't understand. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. One evening, standing on a bridge overlooking the Tiber River, I whispered a quiet goodbye. Not to him, but to the version of myself that waited, that begged, that believed love meant sacrifice even when it was one-sided. That girl deserved better, and now she was finally getting it. I opened my laptop to check emails, and there it was. An unread message from a name I hadn't seen in nearly a year. Subject: I saw you. I clicked. You were in Rome, weren't you? I recognized the dress, the bridge. I was there too. I almost called out, but you looked happy, and I didn't want to ruin it. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I didn't reply. I just smiled, closed the laptop, and let the past stay exactly where it belonged behind me.